collectors in disguise. Children of Primus, collectors in disguise. Children of Primus, collectors in disguise. Children of Primus. Children of Primus.
Hello.
Hello, Mario. First in the comments, hi there again, Children of Primus. Welcome again, Mario. Here we are, Teletrend 2, where we've got many things to discuss.
The cat, I guess.
Many cats in this segment.
Say hi to the internet, Pepperoni.
To knock that. Oh, now he's awake now.
Yes, hello.
Hey, buddy.
And we have the chair from Toy Warp Vintage Reviews has joined us
The
this evening.
notorious chair.
The toys
It
chair.
looks kind of like a face from here, because I see those two holes as eyes.
Yeah, looks like a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, I say the two holes as eyes, and he has like a mouth plate with ridges on it. That's where the mouth would be. And like two horns above the eyes. That's how I read what I'm looking at. It's kind of like a common rider.
Your two holes are eyes.
I will admit that the Grimlot, probably because it's the first non-robot vehicle, little blokies I've done, is like making me like really look at the directions, be like, what the hell am I trying to do? And keep in mind, I'm looking at something this big for the directions.
At least it gets bespoke instructions. My complaints about the earlier blokies where they gave you the instructions for just one character in the set throughout all of them, and for every other character they were like, just figure it out based on this.
Wow.
That's why you'd often see me fumbling trying to build them on stream, because I'm like, I'm trying to build Jazz, but the instructions are for Optimus Prime. And they're just like, you figure it out. They're close enough.
Close enough. So, Toy Warp Vintage Reviews, welcome.
Yeah. You can start the stream now. I'm just, jeez.
Oh.
Sorry about that, man. I don't know what the hell that was. That was my evil twin. We gotta go stop that guy.
No, he's well, that evil twin. He's busy running the other Cruisers Motorsports.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
His name is Poitwarp.
Yeah. No affiliation. We don't know who that guy is. No idea. So lots to talk about in this stream, but I know it's that you also have reveals.
I do. I know you said you wanted to do it in the first one, so I don't have to do them if we don't have time.
I think we have time. We'll try to crunch everything in.
I will say, you should probably turn your volume up a little bit. You're noticeably quieter than the rest of us.
Oh, I can do that.
Who are you speaking to there?
You, Toy Warp. And
Uh-oh. I don't have a way of adjusting my volume. It's just supposed to be up. I guess I'll just speak up.
Nope, I got it. You're good now.
You're still audible. It just sounded like you were being unusually soft-spoken.
Yeah, that's not me. You should know better than that.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a button with an auto brand.
First things I'm going to show are going to be the wedding toys.
Oh yeah, the Mr. Magnus wedding exclusives.
Yes. Nice.
Oh, lovely.
That's very nice.
This is really freaking cool.
It's like BotCon, but better.
That is a Transformers flask.
Nice.
Oh, and it has the date of the wedding on it and everything. Oh my god.
That's very cool.
That's good.
Yeah, the wedding was just outstanding.
Ideally, when Mr. Magnus is back, we can get some permission to share some of the videos that I've seen from it, because
I was the videographer for the whole thing. I've got to get the files out and get them put together by the time he gets back, actually.
Oh, so you're in a rush.
Well,
You got a deadline.
he's currently on the plane heading back, so you know,
I think it was a 2-week deal. I might be wrong. I think it was a 2-week deal.
There we go. Yeah, he said 2 weeks.
Yeah, did he say 2 weeks? Okay.
Yep. I remember
Not
him.
only is it like 2 weeks, but him out in Hawaii, he's posting everything on his Facebook page. And man,
Oh yeah, I've been seeing all the
what
Everybody knows
dedication,
where
man.
he is because he's clocking in regularly.
Yeah. All right. While I was at the wedding, Magnus directed me toward a thing called the Collector Mall, and inside the Collector Mall is about half of it is all toys from his friend the Toyminator. Walking around that, it was like an old Kmart building, and it had like flea market type, antique type stuff on either side, but the center of this building, the entire center of this building, was all just toys, and it was amazing.
wow.
Like it took me hours to comb through all those toys and and pick stuff out, and I couldn't even get everything I wanted. But first up, and again, for those first-time watchers, I show off all the other stuff I get because I only buy G1 Transformers, and those are really expensive. So, late 80s Matchbox. These are called the World Class. They're really neat because they're ahead of their time. All the headlights, taillights, emblems, license plates, all the little details that aren't painted on your regular Hot Wheels cars and Matchbox cars are painted in on these. So got me one of those.
Nice.
Got me a 1991 California Custom Hot Wheel. And then the big thing,
Ooh.
Thruster in the box. He's complete. He's in really good shape. The battery compartment needs cleaned a little bit, but
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this GoBot.
oh, this is the bad guy's base, basically. This is the Renegade base.
Oh,
Also doubles as a spaceship, and then you've got the base part,
Yep.
complete with the really hard to find command chair.
Nice.
That sucker's hard to find, and the battery compartment was a little dirty, so I got him knocked down. I got him knocked down to $90 on this.
Nice.
I told Magnus, I was like, man, I almost threw your name out there trying to get a better deal on it. I'd figured a better not. He goes, dude, they would have hooked you up. I was like, man, now you tell me. One more thing. And then before I left, I managed to find this on an auction site. This is 1989 because it's got the Hot Wheels points on it. This is the Convertibles playset, and I just went to Fanboy Expo over the weekend and found a matching carded car to go with it.
Nice.
So I got the card that comes with it, the card that's gonna go with it. And the really cool part about this is I picked this up for $25, shipped, and it's
What?
sealed. Yeah,
Nice.
some people were sleeping on it, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Your
definitely.
prices now.
And then if you want to bring it up out of the, I mean, if you want to, if not, it's fine. But got to meet Weird Al over the weekend, and if you
Yeah,
want
I
to bring up
saw
the
that.
pictures out of the,
oh, I hear he's always so pleasant.
he was pretty cool. You could tell he was kind of tired. I don't know if it was jet lag or whatever, but he was definitely a little tired. But that's okay. I mean, he still was happy to sign the poster and told me a little bit about hanging out with looking at the audio. Stan Bush, jeez. But yeah, told me a little bit about him hanging out with Stan Bush, not during the production or anything, but just afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can. There we go. Get that image up on the other screen.
Ooh, that's a good Grimlock.
Pretty weird. Kind of gives me Power to Primes vibes with the discs
Given how
here.
the thickness.
Yeah, the fitness jump. I can big bone. He got some wide loaded hips. I do like this with the
Yeah, they just did a model car for
with the
Wheeljack.
hood. I might actually go in and paint that in under the hood because there's a little Autobot symbol molded in, and then some under the hood like motory component details, but you can't really see it because of all the damn white. So, but I might paint that up.
There we go. Here's the image.
He does look like he's flagging a little bit, but is also very happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was pretty cool. All autographs I wish I could have gotten while I was there. You know, that Weird Al was priority, so he was the one I spent the money on. But Edward Furlong from Terminator 2, that would have been really cool. Lee Majors, $6 Million Man, Fall Guy. You know,
Nice.
I got a Fall Guy truck I would have loved for him to sign. It was just a budget. Like, I just came from the wedding, you know, like the week before. And, you know, Weird Al was about the only autograph I could swing.
I like the fact that Weird Al seemingly just always looks the same no matter where he is. He
Yes.
always has the
Timeless,
colorful
isn't he?
shirt and the specific look. Yeah.
Yeah.
He defies aging. RJ Eagle says
Like,
to
he
Toy Warp.
stopped wearing glasses and he shaved his mustache, and those are the only changes he's gone through.
Yes. RJ Eagle says amazing find for Toy Warp, and is asking, did that play set say convertibles? I think I was mixing it up with convertibles GoBot like toy line. They were cool.
Yeah, it says convertibles. What it is, it's the car actually will flip over into another car. Like it's like a '57 Chevy on this side, but you flip it over on the other side, and it's actually like an aerodynamic supercar, and the wheels will work on either side.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm eventually going to do a video on the cars and the playset. So
Cool. And RJ also says Weird Al hasn't changed one bit all these years. Amazing. What I've found funny with Weird Al is he's actually a better rapper than some of the quote unquote rap artists that have been out in the last many years. The one is where he's there's a channel called Epic Rap Battles of History, and he plays the character of it's him versus Newton, and I'm trying to remember which character he plays, but his rhyme flow is just like, there are cats today that could not keep up with Weird Al, and I'm like, Weird Al is a better rapper than some of the artists that are out here.
I remember back in the day when he did White and Nerdy.
Oh, yes.
Millionaire who did the song it was parodying was like in the press being like, I'm actually really impressed with this guy's talent.
Yeah.
With the way he redid
Ben,
my song.
Ben, have you seen the ERB that has Edgar Allan Poe and how fast that guy can go?
Oh, yes.
It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, like some of the stuff that they have on there, it is quite amazing. Mario says it's a shame that people are going to be pretty selective about what they pick up for next year with collecting their figures.
That was already me. I was ahead of the curve.
Well, like I know with me, I noticed that I know Sideburn I didn't get because I loved the Shadow Striker version of that mold, but I didn't buy the Nucleon version of the gray Rock Lordy truck dude. So some of the redecos, if it's not a character I'm really partial to, I don't bother with them anymore. That's in the last, is going into the second half of Legacy. So
Now,
Yeah.
I know it. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I do not want to hear you guys cry about prices.
Well, it's
Are
funny.
you kidding? Do you know how much a box G1 goes for?
On
I mean,
the other
it's hard to
hand-
touch a sealed G1 Transformer for under $1,000.
How much on
Here's
the
the
corner
thing.
work we had to do, buddy?
Here's the other thing to consider. It's a closed system, G1. Modern stuff, like we were just talking about how it's a little bit of a snake eating its tail because they love to keep releasing incremental updates of guys. So there's that angle too, whereas your G1 collecting, I'm like, hypothetically, there's an end point.
Hypothetically. Financially, I don't know about, but hypothetically, sure, yeah.
Well, but within that being a closed circuit, and tying in with the current topic for this part of the segment, one I mean I believe it was RJ when we had a conversation, and I think maybe more Fear would answer this, but I wonder if this ties in with Toy Warp as well. With the increases of prices now, would that push people to say collect more of like older figures? And are there any figures within say the early 2000s and maybe G1 where they're just like the value of that figure, like it's just nobody wants that figure, so it's whatever price you find it for, in a sense the price will never change or it will never go up because no one really wanted that figure to begin with.
if there have been any.
That reminds me. I was
One of the,
looking at the classics Sideswipe and Sunstreaker that share the same mold. They just have it that they were kind of what they did with the Insecticons, the Legacy Insecticons with the deluxe Insecticon redeco is just a reverse of the torso,
yeah.
the green and yellow one.
I think the biggest not increasing in value thing ever was, you remember how they did Skids and Mudflap for Revenge of the Fallen. People already didn't like them when they were doing toys. Because of the lead times on these things, the people designing the toys didn't know they weren't going to be popular, so they did repaints of them called Tuner Skids and Tuner Mudflap, which were like TUNER,
Oh dear.
which were just like fancier car modes. And those things stuck around on store shelves forever because nobody wanted the originals, much less the fancy repaints that they did. So those were the ones that are never going to increase in value, and you can probably get for like $5 on the aftermarket because nobody wants
Ice
them.
Cream Truck is nice though.
Yeah, the Ice Cream Truck version of them was apparently a fun figure, but it's depicting a horrible thing. So again, people will think, do we want this?
No.
The other thing I can think of is the period around 2011 or so, where we reached peak Bumblebee saturation, because this is the point where we're dealing with Dark of the Moon and Transformers Prime and Generations. There's a picture on the Transformers Wiki of a shelf at the time that was nothing but Bumblebee variants. Some of the stuff from around that time period, before they mellowed things out, again, probably nobody on the aftermarket's going to want it.
Well, and I throw this over to you, Toy Warp, of G1 that we know of. Is there any figure that really nobody, I mean, aside from maybe Quick Switch, is there any figure that like just nobody really wants and you could find, or you probably already have?
I noticed some of the mini bots, especially like the third season mini bots, you can usually pick up for pennies on the dollar. I mean, unless they're like carded and graded or something really special like that. I mean, if they're loose, $5-10 a piece, if that. Power Glide Huffer, a lot of the same. What were those guys called? The Spy Changers. I saw one on card at Fanboy Expo for like $30. It's like, yeah, I kind of want it, but I hate those guys. So yeah, and apparently everyone else thought so too because he was still sitting there. So.
I always heard that the jump starters are just ludicrously common. Like they must be splitting like amoebas because of how easy they are to come across.
Yeah, even like boxed and graded, those guys are only a couple $100.
Only.
Well, yeah, I mean, boxed and
Grading
graded for G1 guys is
right.
Top echelon, of the whole deal. But yeah, loose, you can pick them up for $5-10 a piece.
But it's true, because even when I was like trying to backtrack in terms of memory when I got my jump starters, I'm like, I don't remember where or how I got them. They just showed up in the collection. But They're everywhere. Like they're
If you
literally
get
just
enough
everywhere.
G1, it's like how Bill has the black hole, except the jump starters are. If you have enough G1 guys, they'll just automatically
They're like
appear.
Yep.
fleas.
Yeah,
No, actually,
they're not even bad by G1 standards. They're just really common.
Yeah, really common.
now RJ is saying, yeah, for example, who would buy a mint in box Transformers Armada Demolisher for top dollar? Maybe
A
nobody.
lot of people would. That Armada. Remember, the kids who grew up on Armada are old enough to be hitting their like late 20s now. That's why we're getting so many modern updates of them. Some of those Unicron trilogy guys, they do go for mad money on the aftermarket. So
Like, the
that's
thing
one
though
where
with
they
that
absolutely would.
character is that toy is great to play with. So it's a shame. That's one of those things that it hurts me to see it stuck in a box. Him and I can't remember what name. I remember I can't remember if it was Cyclonus in the Japanese or the English, but the helicopter. Him and
Yeah.
Demolisher. They're both really good because they have good minicon integration and effects that only they can do. That a lot of like Armada had the better the Decepticons had better minicon interaction, and they're probably the best two figures from that line.
Yeah, you
at
remember
least in my opinion.
TFCon for a few years, not recently because we've mostly gone through them. I was sort of liquidating my cousin's Transformers Armada collection, and it was always really popular. Stuff went pretty quickly.
Yeah, Armada stuff's really gaining in value.
Mhm.
Funny though that Sedum would say, seeing that stuff in the box hurts you. I posted up a picture of the collection, and there's always that one guy, that has something negative to say, and he's like, "Man, seeing those Transformers in the box really hurts." And I'm like,
Like it
"Hurts what?"
depends on the figure. Like if it's a
your
figure that
wallet?
doesn't have a lot of like interact, so a lot of like modern figures, I don't mind seeing in boxes, but just those two specific figures because they're they have such good interaction with the mini cons. So much of what makes those two toys great is their ability to interact with mini cons. Whereas like if I saw like any like the Autobots from Armada, I could give a shit less if they're in the box or loose or whatever. Because the Autobots
Well, I
from
mean, I didn't
Armada
mean to
figures
attack you
suck.
there, Sedum.
But like the
Yeah,
Decepticons,
whenever
especially
I'm
those
in the
two are
market for
great.
like a vintage figure, I try not to get a boxed version because I don't want I would want to open it and I don't want to reduce the amount of boxed things that are out there out of like respect for that, you know.
No, reduce them just drives the prices of mine up. That's all.
Oh,
But
well,
no,
okay.
I was
Maybe I'm doing
telling
you a
the
favor
guy,
then.
like I was telling the guy, it's like it's like what do you mean it hurts? It hurts your wallet? He goes, no, the toys are meant to be played with. I'm like, these aren't really meant to be played with anymore. They're 40 years old. You shouldn't be
They're antiques.
probably shouldn't be playing with them too much. And the guy said, well, that's like the whole purpose of them. And this is in one of the Transformer groups. I'm thinking like, what are you a grown man playing with them on the floor? I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with that. But the good news is that there were millions of these things made. And if you want to collect them and keep them in the box, guess what? There's plenty of them out there. And if you want to collect them and play with them on the floor, there's still plenty of them out there. It's not like a limited run toy line. There's room for everybody here when it comes to a toy line that's sold this big.
Yeah.
It's not like my Bigfoot trucks where it was a limited
Right.
run of just like 2 years and one of them's stupid hard to find. It's not like that. These things
Heck,
ran
if it's
for
one of
years
the-
and years, and it's just there's room for everybody.
If it's one of the gold plastic syndrome sufferers too, you want to leave that in the box because it's the only way they'll survive.
Oh god, that I can't remember if it was Beast Wars 2nd or Neo, Randy, the redeco of Razor Beast. And that like there's that short video of like the guy just crushing it in his hand, the gold warthog from Japanese Beast Wars.
Yeah, if you're a G1, a North American G1 collector, the guys that you got to look out for are Bristleback and Slog, who are members of Monstructor, the Pretender Monster Combiner, and then Roadblock and Skyhammer, the Ultra Pretenders. Those are the guys that are made of gold plastic from like American G1. The Pretender Monster are particularly bad because that's a combiner team, so you'd want to combine them, but like no gold plastic syndrome, you kind of don't want to.
Well, actually, I guess I would throw us over to Toy Warp because there is that later end of G1 that, many of us just kind of said we're not touching. Um, is there any value in those, which would be the Monstructor, Pretenders? Let's see what else. And it was half and half because there were still half good characters like Power Master Optimus, Piranacons, like Dreadwing. Those ones were still solid, but then you had Monstructor and the Pretenders, whereas it's like nobody wanted to touch those. Have you seen anyone collecting those in boxes in a sense?
Yeah, they don't go for season 1, season 2, or season 3 money, but like the real late season 3 stuff, I noticed there's not a whole lot of interest in. And then the season 4 and the Pretenders and all that crap. Yeah, that is there's not much interest there. There are collectors out there who are doing it because they're G1 completionists. I am a completionist, but I'm only a completionist, I think, through about halfway through season 3, and I'm done.
Yeah,
I still
let me
got, I
tell
still
you.
got some guys from the movie to get.
Let me tell you, but do you have? Because let me tell you about my latest review because it was a G1 guy because it was a nobody G1 guy, G1 Scoop. I just published a review of him because remember, Bill sent me this guy for free in great condition. He just didn't have his guns, and all I had to do was find his guns, which was not terribly expensive. It's just that there wasn't much interest, so the parts people tended to not have them. So I'm like, do you have a Scoop in your collection? And if so, does he go for a lot of money? Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my! Whoa! Hold up! You got
I got
you
the
got
metallic
Rodimus Prime
one.
with the Matrix. Is that the Chase one? Is that like the rare one?
There's 2 chase ones. You have the super one with like the flaming clear plastic stuff. I got the metallic one, which is the one I wanted.
But you did get a Chase one. Jesus, that's one of the uncommon
Yeah.
ones.
I mean,
I've
it's
never
hot
seen
rod.
one of
He's
those get
flaming,
pulled out
alright.
of there.
Yeah, my Optimus is the metallic one, so the
Yeah.
semi-rare one. I didn't care if I got the one with the wings, so that worked out for me.
You're not gonna harsh my mellow. I'm just like, whoa, cool.
I'm trying to think.
It's going right off the
Optimus-
dome.
I don't remember what was what. Which line? The waves.
No, RJ is saying, so true, Spin. Nobody wanted G1 jump starters back in the day for some reason. Too basic, no animation series presence, the same as Whirl and Roadbuster. I can't remember if the deluxe Insecticons were big buys back then, and honestly, I don't know anyone back then who had those deluxe Insecticons. The deluxe mail orders, Camshaft Overdrive, and the other guy were cool though. They
Downshift.
didn't top shift, and they didn't have boxes though. I'm not sure how valuable they are today because Fan Toys did remake them, which are cool.
Yeah, I think the mail-aways do cost a fair amount of money on the aftermarket.
Actually, no.
Wow.
Really?
Because they're
Really?
most of the mail-aways were very well played with toys, so not a whole lot of them survived in really, really good condition.
Interesting.
So these guys had an absurd amount of chrome when it comes to like the weapons,
Ugh.
and then the paint just wasn't quite the same. So the problem with the RX-7, oh god, I'm trying to remember which one's which.
Oh, I don't even
camshaft.
know, bro.
Yeah, I think it's camshaft. That back end of the RX-7 just kind of hangs there
Wow.
a lot of times.
Ooh.
Yeah, these guys, when it comes to money, it's all about condition. And on top of that, their weapons were really easily lost because you didn't have no box or nothing to put them back into.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, these guys are really all about condition when it comes to
Wow.
value.
What about the Power Dashers? Because I know they're tiny, but they're really heavily chromed.
They're really hard to find in good shape too. But even if you find one in good shape, they're not that expensive.
Well, RJ Eagle saying an interesting topic one day would be to identify all the shelf warmers from every Transformers wave and toy line. And
There's
I know
a Transformers wiki article that about shelf warmers that I think did track them for a while, but I know
Oh.
there was some like in the editing. There was like some questions about the tracking it because they're like, it's a matter of opinion. It's what sells in what area, you know.
Exactly. And I mean the one shelf warmer that I very much remember back in the day is this guy. Because I remember going into stores and it's like, you would see a bunch of like power glides, warpaths, when the combaticons were on the shelves and everything, just dozens and dozens of sea sprays. Nobody wanted to buy sea spray. He just sat on those pegs.
Let me share you a section of the article because I found it and it's very appropriate. Uh, it's very appropriate based on what we were just discussing a minute ago.
Oh gosh.
This is the Transformers Wiki article for shelf warmers, and they have a whole section here about the jump starters. There were still a few toys of the time that can be pretty safely declared shelf warmers, with the jump starters being the go-to for Generation 1. These were a perfect storm of things that can cause shelf warming. They were produced in larger numbers since they were on the cheapest end of the boxed Transformers price range, and shipped to a lot of stores, including many that would generally not carry more expensive items, like drugstores. There were only 2 different toys in a case, meaning more of each got put out at once. The characters in question never appeared in the hit cartoon show and had no notable comics presence in the US, and not much more than that in the UK. And the jankiness of the overall play gimmick, meaning kids would see their friends' toys not work properly and decide to spend their allowance on some other toy. With all of that against them, the jump starters ended up in such low demand that pretty much to this day you can find mint and sealed box specimens for significantly less than their contemporaries. Oh, there you go. It's on record. They are the notable Generation 1 shelf warmers.
But,
You know
according
what?
to
Sorry.
I was gonna say according to CBR, they're probably worth $2,000 in
Oh,
box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Squat him.
Come to think of it, that jogged my memory. Yeah, they're right. Those things were available in a lot of places that sometimes didn't even sell toys the rest of the year. They might have a small section pop up for Christmas time. But yeah, I
Like
remember.
Shoppers Drug Marts here in Canada, how they'll do that.
I'm surprised anybody still does that, honestly.
Hmm.
It made me so mad. I remember when I was a kid, I went to, around Christmas time, '84, went to Sears with my grandfather. Never go to Sears with my grandfather because I hated it. But they had a huge toy section. They had a humongous Transformer section. And, I just walked up and down that aisle, all the boxed Transformers. I was just amazed by it. And then I'm like 5, 6, I don't know the difference. So Grandpa, the next time he says he's going to Sears, which was after the first of the year, I'm like, oh, I'm going, and I ran over to that section. All the toys were gone. It was all like garden hoses and crap. And I was so mad. Sears, I'm glad you're out of business because I have never forgiven you.
I remember Sears having their
ever.
video
You're in
game
Sears?
section, and I got the Final Fantasy VII shirt that Sears had. I think I got Super Metroid and Secret of Evermore on Super Nintendo from them both as well.
No,
Didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything. Always watching. No, Mario says, at Fear of Courage, have you finally read or not read issue 24 of the Transformers Skybound, which is the final issue of Daniel Warren Johnson's run of the series with Robert Kirkman continuing the series?
No, I've been busy. I'll let you in on my life. My job's on strike right now, which you think would leave me more time to read comic books, but it has left me with significantly less time, because instead of my cushy office job, I'm out walking picket lines all day instead.
Yeah, so before we end the stream, we sometimes go a little bit longer. We do have our main topics. RJ says, totally true, Toy Warp. The vehicle modes for those mail away Autobots were amazing, but they were pretty flimsy and no one had them in great condition. They need more love. Shiba Kobe back once again. back from super ultra mega Costco run. I got Fireflight and Skydive on Thursday. Hook and Long Haul should be here by this week.
Shiva, at this point, I gotta know. Do you own stock in the company?
I know.
Yeah.
I
right?
mean, I hope when you go to Costco, you give Children of Primus a big a plug as you give Costco on Children of Primus.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
No,
I want to know if you own stock in the company. That's all I want to know, Shiva.
no, Sheba.
Should
Next
we
time
send
you
them
go
a
to
shirt?
yeah, next time you go to the Costco, go like a few extra minutes early. Go over to like where the tablets, the laptops, and the phones are, and just pull up the browser and just like put our YouTube channel on like all of them. Put our channel, put Toy Warp Vintage Reviews, put the channels on all of the phones. And just let them run. Pick a video, just let it run.
Do us a solid, Shiva. Do us a solid.
There you go. And she says, "No, I got them from GameStop, not Costco." And Transformers Joe, yeah, caught you guys live. What's up, everyone? And what's up, Transformers
Hey.
Joe? So, and I know there's as Fair was saying, that his work is on strike. So before we get to Ron Friedman and the price increases from Hasbro, Canada Post for us is on strike again. So it's just been kind of chaotic. So dealing with both sides of the border, dealing with all the tariffs. Now our main mail company has gone on strike once again.
And for the record, I don't work for Canada Post. That's a wholly unrelated thing that is also happening.
Yes, unrelated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want anyone coming after Fair and be like, "Oh, where's my letters?"
You know what stinks? I threw a bunch of letters into the mailbox like the day I found out there was a strike, so they're probably still sitting there.
Yeah, like that came out of nowhere. It's so I mean, in terms of for toy collectors, or not even collectors, anyone who's just buying toys or anything, shipping and back and forth, now to run into this issue again where it's like, well, the prices are all over the place due to the tariffs, but now we're kind of back to limited to the other companies in terms of getting their items shipped to them, which the other companies I find suspect in a sense. Their whole job is shipping, and yet they're terrible at it. Because you hear of the stories between FedEx and UPS and all the other companies where it's like they're either just tossing the packages, stuff gets damaged, or or the classic, and it's happened multiple times. You're sitting at home waiting for a package, and then all of a sudden there's a slip on the door. So then you have to then go drive to the depot to pick up the package, and they're like, well, no one was home, and I'm like, I was sitting right here. You didn't even attempt to ring the doorbell or knock on the door. You purposely did that just because you were lazy. But then you look at
Or they were
Amazon,
badly behind schedule.
that too. But you look at Amazon drivers. I mean, these are no-name drivers, and they're doing a way better job than the postal service and UPS and FedEx. And I'm like, you order something, and depending where you live, because these Amazon centers are the size of cities, you're getting stuff like the same day or overnight, and it's sitting at your porch, and it's like zero issues. So I'm like, how are these shipping guys not able to keep up with that? That's been their job for like decades.
The postal guys, what package? UPS, it's on your doorstep now. Amazon, we're in your living room.
Amazon's scary like that. Like, I swear it's going to be at the point where, like, as soon as you click, like, buy, like, you just hear the doorbell, and I'm like,
Yeah.
like, that's not okay.
Oh hell, like I live like I can hear there's an Amazon warehouse, and I live like single digit minutes walk from it. Like it's literally like if I go around the corner, the neighborhood meets up with the back end of their property.
Same here, where we've moved to, where I would say it's like a 2-minute walk to one of the Amazon centers, and it's pretty scary because where we lived before, when you come back into the main city, you pass one Amazon center, then you pass this one, and then when you get into the main city, there's another one, and I'm like, these centers are like it's insane the size of them, but there's so many of them within a short distance.
I mean, people used to say the same thing about super Kmarts and Walmarts and the big box stores because they, until online shopping took them down, they
Yeah,
just kept getting bigger and bigger too.
and that is true. Shiva says, it's too bad I missed the pre-order for Age of the Prime Silverbolt at GameStop because it was 2 days in December. It was 2 days in December that I wasn't in Victoria for. And Transformers Joe says, I watch those containers fall off those cargo ships all the time, and I'm like, yep, there goes my bot.
People speculated that there was that wave of legacy products, Transformers legacy stuff that was really hard to find, like that beachcomber that I somehow found at a bookstore.
Mhm.
Even the Transformers Wiki was like, we're not sure why this group of figures was so rare. And everybody's like, did they fall off a boat? It's entirely plausible. That's why they were weirdly rare.
Speaking of that Beachcomber figure, I know Hasbro policy emailed people to let them know that pre-order of that re-release of it is getting moved up a little, like by a month or so. It's like, oh my god, they give me a head as advance about the pre-orders being sooner
I'm
than
glad,
expected.
I'm glad because
Wish they did
I
that
really
more
like that
often.
figure. And also, when I found one and I showed people on Discord that I had it, people were mad at me because they were like, how did you, who was not, you didn't have this on order, you didn't have it get canceled, you walk into like a bookstore and they just have one?
Oh, I got like my Titans
And it
Return
was
Misfire for $20 rather
really
than
cheap because they
200.
didn't know what they had. They were like, oh, I'll give it to you for $20. And I was like, okay,
Similar. That's
try
what
to
happened
keep
with
a neutral
Misfire.
expression.
Shiva says, my pre-ordered Fireflight came without weapons, so he's sharing Skydive. Eek.
You're never going to notice. You're going to combine them instead.
Pretty much.
And
Shiva,
RJ,
you still ain't answered me if you own stock in Costco. I really want to know. I gotta
inquiring
know.
my, we want to know.
Yes.
RJ says, but for Canada Post, aren't the deliveries contracted out to these individuals using their own vehicles when a Canada Post sign attached to their cars? And these guys are not that reliable. I don't know all the details on that, but at a certain point, they started changing how the deliveries were. Cause essentially, I think the carriers would be like loaded up with a bunch of stuff in their bags and then go door to door. And then they switched it where I think they went to a truck to a certain part of the block, and then they would do the door-to-door deliveries. But essentially, because of the previous strike, the government then came in and said, well, in the next 10 years, we're phasing out door-to-door delivery and everything's going to be community boxes. So whatever is going on between them, because then they said, well, okay, if that's what you're throwing at us, we're going to throw it back on you, and we're just going to go on strike. So that's just what they're dealing with now. Price increases in Hasbro. Let's talk about that quickly, and then I know we have to get over to Ron Friedman.
Yeah, I don't know if these price increases will make it to Canada or not. I hope not, but also I expect they will.
Yeah,
I had to go look up what they were because it's hard to find the info because this is all American prices first of all, and second of all, a lot of the places just tell you the new price and don't tell you what the old price was. So I was just like, oh, I don't know what it was to begin with.
well, I think there's been so many posts all over the place, but I think for some of the prices, and I mean, again, this is mostly newer figures, so I don't deal, like, say, myself and Toy Warp don't deal with the newer ones, but I think it's almost like a figure that was going for like $24.99 is now either like 34 or almost like 39. So it's
Well,
almost like a $10 increase on some
yeah,
of these figures.
yeah. So here, Sedum did a good job because he shared this in the chat earlier.
Yes.
Somebody just had literally the thing that I'd been trying to find before this, which is just what they were before and what they were now. So in America, a deluxe class figure, which is like normal Transformers, if you're getting one, that's what it is, probably. $24.99. They're going to be $27.99. Leader class, which are the big guys, the Fallen is one of them. $54 previously, up to $59 now. And then the big weird one is the price in the middle is what's going to change the most. Voyager class, which is the medium-sized guys, your Optimuses and your Megatrons and your Soundwaves, the big dudes, but not the gigantic dudes. They were $34. They're going all the way up to 42 for some reason. A much
Yeah, I
bigger
think
jump
it's
than
Deluxe
the
is
other
up by
prices.
3, Leader's up by 5, Voyager's up by 8. And I know I
Yeah.
posted that other comment, that screenshot of the guy making a comment. Maybe the reason there's that weirdness with the Voyagers is think what popular subgroup of Transformers is typically in the Voyager size class?
The Seekers. Seekers are usually Voyagers.
That's why I said the Voyager/Seeker size class.
Yeah, but like, and I've been listening to, because I'm in several, I'm gonna call it different Transformers Discord groups. So I've been listening to chatter about this since it was announced, and the big thing is people are like, why did they jump the price in Voyager class so much? That's gonna price people right out of wanting to get them, because they're like, might as well buy leader class ones for a few more dollars, or just stick to the cheaper price point. So yeah, it's a very strange set of choices.
Yeah. RJ says, has anyone seen a legacy beachcomber in the wild on a shelf? Impossible to find, waiting for my pre-order for over a year.
I did, and no one else has. Literally just me.
He also says, my theory is that Hasbro will limit the shipments to stores, making them rare, and as a result, people will buy the figures regardless of the price hike because of its scarcity.
It doesn't work that way. Retailers order from them. They have to convince the retailers to place the orders.
Well, with that in mind, I mean, does that then attract the scalpers?
I mean, retailers don't really care about scalpers because they're making the sales regardless.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in terms the retailers don't care, but in terms of anyone else buying toys.
Well, yeah, like regardless, they're not going to be able to limit the shipments because Walmart will be like, we want this much. They're like, we're not going to give you that much. If they were hypothetically like, we're not going to give you that much, they'll be like, all right, we're going to stop asking for the larger amount. That's not the kind of like the retailers are very much the ones yanking the chain in that relationship.
Right.
And a lot of people forget that. They're always like, Hasbro this, Hasbro that. You got to look at, they're making these things because they want retailers to buy them. So the retailers very much have a lot more power than people seem to think they do.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of how how Nintendo had actually increased the prices on the older Switch models recently. Desperate the Switch 2 just coming out like a month ago now. And there's a lot of retailers saying, yeah, we're not going to do that price markup because we're trying to get rid of these since the Switch 2 is coming out. We're not going to increase the price on them. And I can't remember which retailer it was, they actually did the opposite of what Nintendo did, and they lowered the cost on the original, on the older Switch 1 models. Because they're like, nope, F that. We're the ones that got to sell these. You already made your money having us buying from you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's a big source of contention in the video game bubble right now is Nintendo doing that between the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. Yeah. And then Nintendo saying that it was all backwards compatible. But yeah, you also have to pay something like a $40 transfer fee per game if you want to transfer what you have from Switch 1 to Switch 2. It's a real debacle right now in the video game sphere.
Yeah, the difference between Iwata, the
upgrade for the
former
game.
CEO, and the current guy is the difference between night and day.
Wow.
Like Iwata was actually a pretty decent gamer miner dude. The current CEO, he's your stereotypical slimy CEO.
What, the person who's named Doug Bowser might be a bad guy. Who would have thought?
I'm talking about like on the Japanese side.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I'm sure he's actually.
Used to be Iwata, and he took a pay cut when Nintendo had that dip, like during the Wii U, and he said instead of laying off work, he did a pay cut. He's like, yeah, on my business cards on it says, yeah, I'm the CEO, but I'm a gamer first. And he was very much like someone who was more about the fans, but the CEO now. And then Reggie, what's his name? And he says like Nintendo isn't the same. Like Nintendo that he worked for isn't the same as Nintendo that there are now.
It's funny. That's same as the new CEO of Hasbro, because he's basically the same thing, where it's just like I'm, a gamer first, and then everything else second, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, in
And
this
then
case, it's not.
Transformers
He's not
Reactivate
what
got
the company
canceled.
he's
People
working
were
for
like,
is about. Well, for Wada, he was working for a video game company. So, but I get what he was
Well,
saying.
you know, they canceled Reactivate because they realized everything's going mobile. And man, I'm telling you, it really is. PlayStation has some kind of handheld thing now that matches, the Nintendo Switch. Xbox isn't far behind in them making theirs. The console wars are over. It's really everything's going to handheld, and really it's because people are used to holding their phones, this close to their face instead of a controller
Right.
I mean,
on a TV.
my anecdotal experience is like, even though I can plug my Switch into my TV, I basically never do because it's easier for me to play 15-20 minutes of a video game if I don't have to flick the TV on and fill the living room with it. I can just pick it up off the thing and just play it a bit. So it's like, Nintendo makes kids' toys. No, they make toys for the grown gamer on the go.
Yes.
Well, they used to back in the day, like the 1800s and stuff. They made like Japanese
Yeah, they made
cards that
playing cards.
the Yakuza used to use in their gambling houses. I was like,
RJ Eagle says low supply equals high demand, and it says look at the Cosmo fiasco. Due to its scarcity, people would have paid 10 or more for that figure if they hiked it for whatever reason.
Well, see, they visibly now. Obviously, companies can lie, but pretty much all the designers were like, we weren't happy that guy turned out rare. It's because Walmart didn't order a lot of them, and that's why they straight up re-released him later on in like Legacy, because they were like, we're just gonna run him again in normal packaging so that people can actually buy one. That's how I got mine, right?
Well, that was the funniest thing to just kind of watch on the sideline, because then people in other countries are like, you guys over here are complaining about, getting one Cosmo in a box or nobody getting Cosmo. We've got like 50 of them over here. And, we'll sell them to you for a regular price. Like, we won't even rip you guys off. But it was always that, why are they limiting Cosmos over here? We've got a whole
'Cause-
box of them in our country.
Because Walmart didn't order a ton of them, and then wherever they came out in that country did order them.
Yep. It was the funniest thing. Now, in the Transformers world, we know that Ron Friedman has passed away recently. It was his main thing that most people know of him is for the Transformers, the movie, was a co-writer. Looking at his history, there's a lot of shows that he wrote that he was also has writing credits for that all of us grew up with, between My Favorite Martian, Get Smart, Bewitched, Gilligan's Island, Andy Griffin Show, I Dream of Jeannie, Partridge Family, Odd Couple, The Good Life. Let's see what else. All in the Family, Chico and the Man, Barney Miller, Happy Days, Wonder Woman, Starsky and Hutch, Charlie's Angels, Fantasy Island, The Dukes of Hazzard, BJ and the Bear, which is so many people forget about that show. Strike Force, Small and Fry, The Fall Guy, which we had mentioned earlier, and then there's the GI Joe American, All a Real American Hero, I believe in the movie, Sledgehammer, new WKRP in Cincinnati, Fantastic Four, Iron Man, the earlier cartoons, and Legend.
Jesus Christ, did he write every show from like 1975 to like 1990?
Certain episodes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that was his mission, to write an episode of every show that was.
It worked.
Yeah.
No, it worked. So I mean, between Ron Friedman and Bob Budiansky, it's really, those are the two names that, when we think about the creation of this entire franchise going for 40 years, it always goes back to them.
Like I. Yeah,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I mentioned it during the Saltron 1 stream. His role in the G1 cartoon was sort of like the consistency guy, like making the tone the same. Because you had these scripts that were being written very fast by a whole bunch of different writers who, because of the speed of it, weren't necessarily talking to each other. So he was the guy in charge of like being like, Warpath sounds like this always. Power Glide sounds like this always. I'm going to go in and edit the dialogue to make sure these characters are the same across all these different scripts. And he came up with like a lot of the weird Cybertronian expressions they would use during the cartoon. And what again, like he was a script doctor basically. That's how his role seems to have been explained to me, in making the G1 stuff like consistent across the first 2 seasons.
Nice.
The script doctor that killed Prime. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. He
Oy.
wrote a book called I Killed Optimus Prime.
Prime. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's
Yep.
funny because, like I said, a few years ago, like there was that thing at TF Nation where they looked at the early Transformers, the movie script, with like Rails, the Snake Train, and the Predacons, but they were Autobots because they were still developing the characters and all these other things. And that was his script because he wrote the first couple drafts of the movie, and then Flint Dill and others came in and took over and started chopping it up and making their own things because they were like, this is too big and complicated. So he did the early drafts, but a lot of the stuff that we know is mostly later writers. But he did like, stuff like Optimus Prime dying and RC being there, and most of the characters. That was the stuff he invented for the '86 movie, basically.
Now I wonder if has there ever been any word of people going at him for writing the death of Optimus?
Good question. I mean, he doesn't seem to have been. I mean, he wrote a book about it, so he seems to have been okay, like being like, "Yeah, it was me. What are you gonna do?"
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna
that
go
book-
write for 12 more shows.
That book was grade A weird.
It was. I haven't
Yeah.
read it. Well, tell me about it.
Yeah, tell us.
Oh man! First off, half the book is written in caps. No joke.
What?
Like,
Okay.
most of the time, he's wanting to yell at you as a writer than to just tell you a coherent story. A lot of the stories aren't coherent, even with all the caps. It's wild. It's almost like just it's borderline lunatic rant. I hate to say it. Oh, God rest the
I
guy's
guess he was a
soul,
little
but
over the hill at this point.
yeah. There was a point in there where he conducted an interview as himself, interviewing Optimus Prime, and he's writing the part of Optimus Prime as well. And they get to talking about quantum physics and
What?
Optimus Prime somehow was around when World War II happened. I mean,
Well, he was asleep.
it's wild. It's really hard to keep with. There's parts of it that are just really hard to understand because it just wasn't written correctly. I don't think he had an editor for the book. Wow, it's something. Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, you're making
It's
me want to
something.
read this just to see.
Yeah, I'm intrigued now. Actually, I guess what year did this book come out? Let's see.
No idea. I've only ever really read the 2 books. I've read, Yes, I Killed Optimus Prime and Bumblebee and Me with Dan Gilbert. And that's a really good book. It's well written. You can understand what the hell's going on in it. It's on a whole nother level than Ron Friedman's book. Yeah, it's a little wild.
It's like Ron Friedman's one is the insane one, and Dan Gilvezan has always struck me as just the normal person. It's like, yeah, I showed up. We hung out. This was my experience.
There we go.
Yep.
Publication date March 6, 2019. 265 pages. Now,
It's more recent than I thought.
yeah, because the way you described it, I'm thinking, okay, maybe this book was written in the 80s when things were just happening back then. Wow, I'm intrigued to. I'm intrigued to read this book.
Yeah, pick you up a copy. Not that they can get to your house anyway, but pick you up a copy anyway.
Thanks,
Just
Canada
throw it
Post.
really hard in a northerly direction.
I'm
You have to
intrigued.
throw it because our mail's on strike apparently. So
Yeah, apparently. And I think in the future we're gonna review this book. It is intriguing
Yeah.
now.
I mean, if I can get a copy, I'll read. I'll read it and write a damn book report like it was high school.
Nice.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Mhm. No, RJ says it's funny as a kid I paid no attention to the credits watching G1 cartoons on TV. Some names did stand out for some reason. Only later as an adult I'm appreciating these writers such as Friedman.
Yeah, I remember a name that stuck out when I was a kid and I saw the credits. Casey Kasem, because we all listened to Casey Kasem's Top 40.
Yes.
So that was a name that I think that was the only name that really stuck out in the credits when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think that as well.
And it didn't really help either that first off, when the voice actors came up, it only lasted for like 3 seconds. And it didn't tell you who was doing what voice. It was just a list of random names. Thanks, Sunbow. You're a big help. You know that?
These people that made the show basically, and we don't know who did what.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess any more news or anything else that we want to mention? Well, I guess the one thing is, congratulations to Mr. Magnus.
Yeah.
Where he had his wedding last week Saturday. And he's been on his honeymoon. So, and it was a Transformers wedding, so it'll be cool, in the near future when we get to see pictures and videos of that. But there was the one video with the Robos and Optimus Prime, presenting the rings. That was very cool.
The ring bearer was the Robus and Optimus Prime. Let me tell you what, they had to practice that. So his son was actually the one running it from a seat in the back, right?
Nice.
Oh, nice.
And Bill had actually built that ramp that he goes up just so Optimus could run up that ramp, because the whole thing happened on like a little mini stage.
Okay.
Okay, so he built a plywood ramp just so that could roll up there, and then he built 2 wooden platforms out. Like within a day, he did all this, but he also built 2 wooden platforms out so the bridesmaids and groomsmen could stand all the way around instead of being on and off the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did all that in a day, which was pretty wild. The tent that it happened in, he ended up buying because he could rent it for, what was it? He could rent it for 600 or just buy the thing for 500.
Wow.
Okay.
Which makes sense. I mean, if you've ever rented equipment like that, you basically pay for it, but then when you bring it back, you get a big deposit back.
Right.
So,
Yeah, which-
if you take off with it or something bad happens, then it's paid for and they can just go get another one, put it into service.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's because there was a wedding that we went to like about a month or so, or almost 2 months ago, and essentially the bride said the exact same thing. What the company they were dealing with in terms of the rental for like the chairs and everything, it was cheaper for them to just buy the stuff and make their own decorations than what the rental place was trying to charge for the exact same setup.
Yeah, it worked out really nice. My old lady was just fascinated with it, 'cause she had never. Then it also occurred to us that neither one of us has really been to a full-on wedding before.
Oh,
Interesting.
So, like afterwards, they have the bride's dance with her dad, and then the groom has a dance with his mom, and then
Yep.
or maybe this is just because it's Kentucky. I mean, I don't know. It was Kentucky, but
No, we do that here too.
no, that's traditional.
like all these like traditional things, and they just kept going through and me and the old lady are looking at each other like, what?
That's funny because
What?
like I'm at the exact age where I've been to quite a few weddings in the last couple of years because like include like not only did I get married, but like all the people my age are getting hitched, so I'm pretty familiar with this whole set of things.
But weddings are funny because I mean, yeah, years, yeah, back I think in like my 20s, at that time when it's like a whole bunch of people were getting married, and you would see the differences in weddings, whereas like there's some that are in the church, some everything is suit and tie and just like prim and proper, and then some that are just in the backyard and it's an intimate setting and everyone's casual. And then there are some that I would just nickname the Martin Lawrence type of weddings, where it's just like, what the hell did I walk into, and what is that, and who is this person, and what's going on over there, and the one story I always like telling, and it's funny. Someone that I had a friend years ago when I went to, I think it was her cousin's wedding. And after the wedding and everyone's at the reception, and there's like this older aunt of some sort, and she said she's going to like dedicate a song to the new couple, and she goes on the mic and starts singing, and everyone's just trying to hold it in, and then like I think it was my friend's uncle and his children, like his children are kind of starting to laugh, and the uncle is like looking at us and like, you guys don't dare laugh and stuff. But the table across from us with all the elders in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, they're on the floor just dying of laughter, and I'm like, we can't hold it in. If they're laughing, like, it was one of those sing songs where it's just like, yeah, that's memorable.
Ouch.
So I know my dad's wedding to my stepmom. I get out of the car my brother and grandpa, they get into church before I can even leave the parking lot. And my dad's like, Steven, I got to tell you something. You're gonna have a little brother, a second other brother, and a little brother in a few months. So all the wedding pictures, I'm like, what the fuck? Because I only got the confirmation. My mom was like, oh yeah, he's getting married because all of a sudden, because he got knocked up. So my mom called it, but I remember that, and I remember I drunk some. I know I never drunk wine before then. I was like at the meal after the wedding. I was like, yeah,
Just pop
you're old
glug
enough to
glug.
drink. Yes, okay, let me drink when I read on, because I'm like, what the fuck? I'm little.
Speaking of the elders at the wedding, I had the privilege of meeting Bill's parents,
Oh,
and they have been married 63 years.
nice, nice.
It's
I
longer
was,
than most people have been alive.
yeah, yeah. Just my jaw at the floor. Because I just started a casual conversation with, and they're like, oh, we're Bill's parents. I'm like, oh, good, really good to meet you. I do the podcast with them. I'm going to do the video of it and everything. And I said, yeah, I just casually asked, how long you guys been married? 63 years. And I was like, my jaw was like, wow.
That's amazing.
That's
I mean,
amazing and beautiful. And they were two very, very kind people. They were great to talk to. Yeah, it was they were. I think they were my favorite part of the wedding, actually.
well, I could see where Mr. Magnus gets it from. So it's
Yeah.
it's a big respect to them, and for raising Magnus to be the man that he's become, and now he's officially Mr. Magnus, and there's a Mrs. Magnus.
Oh yeah, it is.
So on that note, I guess we will round up this evening and say thank you to you guys hanging out. Magnus should be back with us next week, and thank you for everyone in the comments. Like and subscribe to our channel, and actually, well, yes, Fear Courage, do you have any reviews coming up?
Okay, well, like I said, I just dropped my review of G1 Scoop. That came out on Friday, so you can look that right up on the Children of Primus website under News and Reviews. Yeah, it's a 1988 nobody. Let's see what one of those, and I point out, if you've handled a G1 guy, most people, it's probably guys from the first 3 years. Nobody looks at these guys, but I looked at one. And my next review, I just finished taking the photos, is for the Big Blokies Megatron that I built on stream, which is, yeah, big and complicated enough that he deserves his own write-up instead of the way I've reviewed them before, where I just grab a handful of them, like, talking about all these guys. I still have to write it, but I got the photos done, so that'll be done when it's written, which, normally wouldn't take me too long. I'm on strike right now. I gotta find time to write, but look for that within the next week or two. I just gotta type it up.
There we go. Sheba says, I used to read end credits of cartoons religiously so I could try to figure out who voiced what. And, as myself and Toywort mentioned, do you have stock in Costco? And then next time you're in Costco, just pull up our channel and pull up vintage toy reviews on all the laptops and phones and stuff there.
Yeah,
It's-
see, you never answered us, so
Mhm.
keep your secrets.
They're secretly the owner of Costco.
Always
Are you the
watching.
person who said that if you change the price of the hot dogs, I will kill you? Because everybody knows that story. Is that you? Costco hot dogs are cheap, right? And the story is the CEO of Costco. They were like, we gotta raise the price of hot dogs. They said, I will kill you if you raise them. Figure it out.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that's how strongly he felt about it.
Toywort, what do you have coming up coming up?
On both Cruisers Motorsports channel and Toy Vintage Reviews, keep an eye out for the shorts. The shorts are going to be a lot of fun because Fanboy Expo and a whole bunch of just nerd stuff on the Toy Warp shorts, and lots of Indianapolis Motor Speedway and Corvette Museum stuff coming up in the Cruisers shorts. So just keep an eye on the shorts on either channel.
Cool. And Sunbox, what say you coming up before we sign off?
He is offline.
That is too funny.
Is I going to say you? Nothing.
Nothing. And on that note, till one.
Till all our Costco. I mean, one, yeah.
Till I'll go to Costco.
We now return to the Children of Primus.